Get ready with me while I tell you the surprising way my houseplants helped me diagnose my clinical depression. I've struggled with depression my entire adult life, and then the pandemic rocked me. During the pandemic, I had to cancel my wedding. I lost my job. I was a performer, and the theater shut down. I had to move in with my parents, and then we moved after living with my parents for a little bit from essentially 500 square feet in New York City to 5 acres in the middle of the woods in nowhere. And I had to ironically write my book, Growing Joy, The Plant Lover's Guide to Cultivating Happiness. It was like the worst year of my life. And I had to write a book about how plants brought me joy. But I like to say I'm like a high-functioning depressed person. So I was churning out pages, I was churning out podcasts, I was moving forward, and I was pretty much in denial that I was struggling. I was just, measuring my success by my output and not really paying attention to how I felt internally. And then I had this moment with my plants that literally changed my life. As I was writing my book, I made this like little planty nook. So I had like 80 houseplants at the time, and I put almost all my houseplants around a little cozy chair and computer desk that I was writing my book on. I was sitting down writing my book, and I looked around, and my plants were so miserable. They were so wilted. They were yearning for sunlight. It was winter, and they had, they were struggling to go through the transition to moving to this kind of dark home in the woods. They were like on their last breath. Granted, at this point, I had the top podcast about houseplant care. Like, I was a good houseplant parent. I knew how to keep my plants alive. And yet I had totally let my plants basically almost die. And then I realized, oh my God, I feel like my houseplants. I had stopped going to the gym. I had completely isolated myself and stopped calling my friends. I wasn't taking care of my body. I was binge eating again. All of the symptoms of my depression had crept up, and I was just completely avoiding them. And my plants ended up being the mirror for me to initiate me into realizing, wow, I need help. These plants need help. I need help. I committed to engaging with my plants every single day, even if it was just like watering one plant, but I had to engage with my plants every single day. And every single day I had to do one thing to start nourishing myself as well. So I was watering my plants, and I was watering life back into myself as well. I got back into therapy. I signed up for a gym. I reached out to friends. And like I wrote in my book, slowly but surely, my plants came back to life. And slowly but surely, I came back to life alongside them. Particularly on social media, we talk a lot about plants and how beautiful they can look and like what a nice hobby it is to have. But I knew plants were the icing on the cake of my life. They had brought me so much joy. I was writing a book about that, right? But I had no idea what a lifeline they would be for me in a period of struggle. So to anyone who might be feeling a little wilted, a little stressed, of course you are, it's hard times out there. Maybe it's time for you to nurture a plant and nurture yourself alongside it. Have a great day.